Hi, fellow Muppet fans, and welcome to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch The Muppets Take Manhattan 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And this week we have a return guest. He was with us for the Muppet movie, and now he's back with us for this one. Guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Max Jessop. I would say you might know me as sort of an internet personality among Muppet fans and movie fans on Twitter and Instagram, but I'm an aspiring writer, and I also host a podcast called the Exhibition Podcast. So that's me.
Very good. We'll put a link to your podcast in the show notes. But yes, a fellow Muppet nerd. So thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here. It's great to talk about Muppet movies. It's my favorite topic.
Ours too. And today, our topic is minutes 85 and 86 of The Muppets Take Manhattan, in which somebody's getting married on stage in Manhattan Melodies.
Somebody's getting married?
That's what I hear.
Somebody's getting married!
So we do hear a lot of the song in this clip, which I'm sure we'll get to some of the specific lyrics as we go through this, because there's a lot happening in this clip. But do either of you have any just sort of general thoughts about the song Somebody's Getting Married? It's a good song. I like it. It's catchy.
I think it's probably my favorite song in the movie. It might be. It's between that and Can't Take No for an Answer. But like, there's just a lot of... It's just very bouncy and fun. And it's a great finale song. I really enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it works really well for this, where like there's so many characters on stage, and it's just sort of like bounced around, as you say. It's bouncy, but it's bounced around between all the characters who are on stage. They each take a line here and there.
Well, I think that as we all know, and our listeners probably all know, the song is going to slow down and become the "He'll Make Me Happy" thing soon. Right. And I don't think that the emotion of the slower stuff in the finale works unless we get this like bouncy, Muppety, like silly fun number first, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you have to have something as a contrast to the more emotional thing that's going to happen a little later. Yeah.
I would also say it's the perfect sort of like conclusion to this movie specifically, because it's kind of like showing us kind of everything we saw, not only in like, obviously there are references to kind of like what's been going on in the plot, of course, the culmination with the wedding, that's the whole point of it all. But I feel like for this to be Muppets Take Manhattan and for this to be the New York film, you know, it's being very signature Muppet in that, you know, it's bouncing around to all these different characters, but at the same point in time, it's trying to be a, you know, like a New York Broadway, like classic old time show tune sort of vibe. And I think it works in that regard.
Yeah, it's actually, I guess, a little bit like a closing number from The Muppet Show that way, where it's just a bunch of Muppets on a stage. But in this one, they're in New York instead of on stage at the Muppet Theater.
Right. Which is sometimes in New York, right? Isn't there some continuity? Isn't it in New York in it's a Kermit Christmas movie? Isn't it explicitly
it's
in
a
New York in that
Christmas
one?
movie? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 9/11 Christmas movie. Yeah.
Yikes.
Because it's explicitly London in Muppets Go to the Movies, explicitly New York in that one, and explicitly Los Angeles in the 2011.
Yeah. So it's wherever the writers want it to be in that moment.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's some additional evidence on the Muppet Wiki page for the Muppet Theater, so you can seek that out if you're interested in that.
I have a theory that just popped into my head right now. Is Manhattan Melodies is Muppets Take Manhattan a prequel, a sort of prequel to a version in this universe to the Muppet Show? Is Manhattan Melodies a proto Muppet Show for these versions of Kermit and Piggy and them?
I guess there could be there could be a reality where these guys all went to college together, and then they met some of these other characters, and then they got TV show or a vaudeville show or whatever it is. Yeah.
Because it's like, this is the beginning of like, this could be, oh, this got really popular. Let's do this as an ongoing review. And then they just start to do that.
Yeah. I mean, in which case, the whole Muppet movie story of like Kermit going on a road trip and picking them all up one by one, that never happened. But
the alternate Muppets Take Manhattan universe that is set in New York.
Yeah, it's like the DC comics, like Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth whatever, the different versions of reality with the same characters.
Right. Or if you will, it's like the 2009 Star Trek movie where the characters were all born at different times and stuff because Captain Kirk's dad died in an attack by the Romulans.
So both versions of reality happened, but they're different versions of reality.
Right. And Dave Goelz as Gonzo is Leonard Nimoy as Spock because he's in all versions of reality.
Yes, I
like
love
it.
that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad we settled that. But so, yes, we pick up at the beginning of this clip with this little dog played by Richard Hunt, who's spreading the exciting gossip that he just heard to a bear doorman played by Dave Goelz, and that is, somebody's getting married. The bear spreads the word. Then we see these dog construction workers popping out of the sewer. They're also excited about the news.
Can we talk about the fact that the dogs, like the gate around their manhole that they're working on says, "Caution, dogs at work. Dig we must."
Yes. So I have seen. So Anthony, I know you have read Mad Magazine in your life.
Yes, I have
Max.
read
I don't know
Magazine,
if you're a Mad Magazine fan.
I appreciate it from afar. I haven't dug into it as much as my colleagues.
Sure.
Yeah. That's one of those things that might be an age thing because like by the time you were born, Mad Magazine was in color and had advertisements.
Oh yeah, wow.
Which happened in like 1991 or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
so like
when you're young and you read Mad, there are a lot of references and things that go over your head because like they weren't just writing 2 kids or 4 kids. And I remember seeing a few times like these little gags and references in the background of panels. One of them was this thing, "Dig we must," and I never knew what it meant. Specifically, one example I remember is in the movie parody of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which I should have looked up to see what the Mad Magazine title was. I think it was In Banana Jones and In Banana Jones and His Last Crude Days, I think was it. But anyway, there's a scene where they're like digging under the library to find the hidden passage or whatever. And in that Mad parody, there's a sign that says "Dig we must." And I didn't know what it meant. And here it is in this movie. And I still didn't know what it meant. So I looked this up. I found the most helpful thing I found on the internet was a comment on a Substack by a user named Sven Yargs. So thank you to Sven Yargs. And this comes from a campaign by Con Edison, which is the electric company in New York City. In the 1950s, they would put up these signs featuring the slogan, "Dig we must for a better New York," when they had to like block off traffic or otherwise cause inconvenience to cars or pedestrians. So it's basically like, we know we're in the way, but we have to do this to improve everyone's lives. So I guess it just stuck with New Yorkers that way. Like, I mean, it means it's a successful campaign. So that is why the barricade where the dog construction workers are says "Dig we must."
It's not a barricade. It's a dogicade. You have to be correct.
Yes. Thank you.
No, Christine, that's a dogicade. Barricades wear hats.
Right. Oh boy. So then this fire truck goes by full of dogs and chickens. That's fun. Lew Zealand is at a fish stand. He sings the line, "Somebody's getting married." There's a bunch of fish all laid out on the stand, but remarkably, they do not sing along. Seems like a little bit of
I wonder
missed opportunity.
So that actually made me think, do we think Lew's fish are dead? Like, is he throwing live fish?
He talks to them.
He does talk to them, that's true. So maybe they are alive.
They tend to be, the fish that Lew throws do tend to appear more like real fish than, like, they don't look like Muppet fish usually.
Right.
I think I've seen like photo puppet, like Viewmaster slides of like him throwing.
Where they have like they have like a smiling like fish. Yeah,
but I generally see him with very pale, limp fish.
Yeah, it is a weird, like that does make it even weirder than if he is throwing dead fish, but naming them and speaking to them as he throws them. I just always considered Lew Zealand's just like a crazy guy. Like he's
sure.
Like he's like off in the head, like in a way different from even Crazy Harry. He's just he's got his own weird stuff going on in there, and like, we don't give that enough credit.
Yeah, he's one of the weirdest Muppets, and I don't want to know more about that. I don't want them to ever to like try to do a psychological deep dive on Lew Zealand. Let's just let him be the weirdest.
The Muppets from space of Lew Zealand.
Right. No, thank you. We also see Bill, Gil, and Jill, the frogs, walk by. I want to mention something that was brought to our attention by a number of listeners, which we failed to mention in previous episodes. We did talk about the fact that these frogs have hair and they wear clothes, which Muppet frogs usually do not. But we didn't mention that Bill has ears and the other frogs don't have ears.
People went crazy.
Yes.
Like our listeners, we appreciate you. We're glad that you keep us on our toes and all this. But I had no idea people were so passionate about Bill's ears. Like we had multiple listeners tell us that like they've been shook about Bill's ears their whole life.
Well, I think they were surprised because this is supposed to be the podcast that like pays attention to the minutia of this movie, and somehow we all failed to notice. Like you and me and our guests on those episodes failed to notice or mention that Bill the frog has ears.
Right.
So there it is.
Most
frogs. Bill has ears.
Yeah. Oh, should we make merchandise?
Because when I was on, I suggested like the Frank Oz cameo shirt, and I think y'all made that a thing. Someone made that a thing briefly. It was like
I don't know.
Waka Waka with the biker
like Frank Oz biker stash.
Yeah. So now my contribution to the Muppet movie zeitgeist is Bill has ears.
I would consider
Bill
that.
Has ears.
Yeah, if we could get like one of our Muppet artist friends to draw like an abstract version of Bill that wouldn't be encroaching on the copyright.
Being specific about him having ears. He has ears.
Right.
Yes.
That's because then we will never forget again.
Well, no, I certainly won't.
And the masses will be satisfied.
I still don't remember which one is Steve Whitmire and which one is Dave Goelz, but I'll never forget that Bill is the one who has ears.
Bill is Dave Goelz and Jill is Steve Whitmire.
Thank you.
And here's why I'm certain of. Here's why I always remember, because I can hear Steve Whitmire in my head saying something from the grill, Jill, and she says, "Meat makes me ill, Gil."
Oh.
That's why I remember.
Okay, I'll try to keep that in my head as well.
These mnemonic phrases to help remember Muppets Take Manhattan minutia.
Yeah, important things. Like, which frog is which?
Which one is Bill and which one is Gil?
The frogs and Lew Zealand look up to see Rizzo and Tatooine fly across the stage in this little plane with a pink propeller. They're also singing "Somebody's Getting Married." It's very cute. I just like the look of all this scenery.
And they're presumably radio controlled, right? Like, they're just moving their mouths while they're flying in an airplane. I don't think there's puppeteers under there.
I don't see how there could be. Yeah, no, I didn't even really think about that. But I don't think there's enough room for there to be puppeteers there. So, yeah. And also, those puppets, the way their mouths move, like I feel like that would be a little less noticeable because they have those little trigger mouths. It would be less noticeable than, say, when Kermit suddenly becomes a radio-controlled puppet, or Gonzo or Piggy.
Yeah. Happiness Hotel. That sounds great. Kermit is
right when they're in the crates in the pond.
Yeah.
Great Muppet Caper. Yeah, exactly. Then a bear with her hair in curlers. We see her singing out her window. She sings, "Somebody's getting married," which is very nice singing voice on that bear. There's some dogs singing along, including Ralph, who puts on a top hat as he dances by. He looks very nice in that top hat. This bear has a bright pink flower in her flower pot, in a flower pot on her windowsill, which sort of reminded me of those novelty flowers that used to be popular, where you would put batteries in them and turn them on, and you would like play music, and the flowers would kind of dance around in their pots. Do either of you remember that at all?
I remember that.
I kind of remember that. I'm mostly just familiar with like the solar ones you'd put on and they just dance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't think it is one of those, but just something about the design of this bright colored flower in a pot reminded me of that.
But by the way, you keep saying this bear, but that's Beth. That's Beth Bear this whole time.
Beth? It doesn't sound like Beth when she sings. And also Beth didn't have hair like this before, but
that's the same puppet though.
Okay.
We have to assume that.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. Because this is...
It's just like her in hair and makeup.
Well, whose voice is this?
I would guess it's Bruce Edward Hall. Like, I don't know why it wouldn't.
I don't know. It's a very... it's a high note, but good for him if it is.
And actually, I'm checking Muppet Wiki now to see if they like discuss this at all. They don't, but the picture of Beth in the like little profile thing is Beth in that window with flower and things.
Okay, well, I'm very glad you said that. Yeah, because like in my head it sounds like Louise Gold, but she didn't even work on this movie, did she?
She worked on the movie. No, she did not.
Yeah.
I think it must be Bruce Edward Hall. Since he's credited as Beth, he plays Beth earlier.
Yeah,
I don't know why it wouldn't be him.
No, okay, he's very versatile with voices then. Well, anything else before we move on to the next appearance of the next characters?
I don't.
All right. Kermit, Gonzo, and Scooter dance onto the screen, and they are singing somebody.
Ryan.
Yes.
You said Kermit, Gonzo, and Scooter.
Is that not who it is?
It's Kermit, Fozzie, and Scooter.
No. It's Kermit, Gonzo, and Scooter.
It is.
Because here's what happens. Right, it's hilarious. First of all, they're all wearing these great sweaters and sweater vests that I like a lot. They go to a tuxedo shop. Like they dance in front of a tuxedo shop, and in the background we see Fozzie like peering outside the window from inside the tuxedo shop. Like he's like locked in there or whatever, and he's just very curious about what his friends are doing outside the tuxedo shop.
Yeah, right. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I don't know why I'm not looking at the movie right now.
Oh, sure, and I don't know why they did it that way, because then the door of the tuxedo shop magically opens, and then Fozzie just joins the gang. Maybe he was just too big to fit in the frame with these other three puppets, because Fozzie's a little bigger than these other guys.
Much bigger, yeah.
Because when we see Piggy, she is also joined by four of her friends, but her friends are smaller puppets. So that's my best theory. But so they go into this tuxedo shop. There's a penguin working in there, because of course there is.
It's great to see that one of the penguins got a job as a tailor after Pete threw them all out.
Yes.
I mean, they excused him for living, and and now, but it's also like a little imperceptible pun, just because it's a penguin in a suit.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's you can't pass up that gag.
That's a great gag.
Yeah. Exactly. So everybody continues singing this song. When they get to the line, "'cause somebody's getting married today," all of these mannequins and bow ties on the wall of the shop dance along to the song, which is a nice gag.
So let's talk about this.
Yes.
Like in real life, we know that they can just build a puppet for whatever, right? But in universe, in this movie, everyone on stage is Kermit and Piggy's friends from college, or someone that they met on their different adventures, right? As far as we know. which means that someone brought with them to the theater from one of their adventures some living mannequins and clothes to appear in the scene.
I guess so, yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm going to assume that it was Jenny, that she befriended these living clothes at her, fashion institute.
At her fashion design program.
Yes.
Yeah. Or here's a thought. Maybe it's the penguin. Maybe it is the penguin because he has the connection through the shop, and maybe he legitimately got a tailor job. This is mirroring real life, and he's like, I have these mannequin friends. I don't know. Right. I just think there's something to that. Maybe it's Nicky Napoleon. I have no clue.
It's who?
Or
Nicky Napoleon, the penguin conductor.
Is that from?
That's from Little Muppet Monsters Muppet Vision 3D.
Oh wow! Okay,
awesome.
I thought it was Muppet Vision 3D, but I didn't want to say it and be wrong.
Yeah, if it's Little Muppet Monster, that was like just about to happen.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's Little Muppet Monster fame.
But also another theory, throwing out another theory. Miss Piggy briefly worked at Bergdorf Goodman, so
true.
Maybe she picked him up there.
Yeah, and the way they're arranged, they look like they're on the shelf in a store.
Oh, like a deleted scene where her and Joan Rivers go and meet mannequins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. Why not?
Yeah, they just introduce themselves. Yeah. All of these things are possible. Any of these things are possible. And unlikely, but anything's possible. I do. It reminds me though of the TV show, Today's Special, which I want to say was Canadian, but it's one of those shows that people my age always talk about when they start talking about like nostalgia for childhood TV shows, because there was a mannequin on that show who would come to life after hours when somebody would put a hat on it. So maybe there's something like that, some sort of enchantment like that happening here. This also reminded me, in an interview with the Museum of the Moving Image last year, Frank Oz said that this sequence really prepared him for his next movie, which was Little Shop of Horrors, a musical, because it just kind of helped him learn how to shoot and edit on the beat of a song, which is, you can really see that in this, this whole sequence, which is really valuable too, because by 1984, not a lot of musicals getting made. So he kind of...
Very few.
You can see why he was on their list to direct Little Shop of Horrors. So now it is the ladies' turn. We see Piggy flanked by Janice, and then also by Camilla, and by Yolanda, who didn't exist before this movie because there are not enough female Muppets. So this is what Piggy has to... These are the only Muppets who are available to be her girlfriends. They go into a bridal shop, and Jill is working there.
You know who really should be one of Miss Piggy's entourage?
Hilda?
Miss Mousy. But Hilda
Miss
too.
Mousy.
Mildred Huckstetter?
Yes, exactly. That's the crew, right? Mildred, Hilda, Miss Mousy.
I would have loved to see Mildred. If they could have introduced Mildred earlier in the movie at somebody's job, like in one of the postcard sequences, and then brought her back here. Yeah, I really wish they would. Of all the, we joke a lot about like, oh, they should bring back this old obscure character, but I really think there's some potential with Mildred.
There's something there. There's something there.
Well, Mildred was continuing on this tangent, Mildred was such a strange character because she never had a consistent performer.
Well, that's true, yes.
She's played by everyone. She's Richard Hunt, she's Aaron Oscar, she's Dave Gold. I think Frank Oz, like when she's dancing with George, right?
In the At the Dance sketches on the first season of The Muppet Show, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's just, I think if they had like let someone really develop that character, given her to Louise Gold in season 2 or something.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah. Well, and Hilda too, though. Hilda had a real personality and a real role on the show, but then her performer left.
Hilda, I think was a pretty great character.
Yeah, she was good. Bring back Hilda.
That's right. Next Muppet project. Muppets now with Hilda.
Please.
They already have a puppet for Mildred, though. I think like that's an easy fast track. I think if they were to do like Muppets 2015 today, I think like she would make a great like front desk character.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she just witty comments everything happening. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
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 Because she was in Muppets Most Wanted, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so there's a relatively current build of the Mildred puppet that they could use. Yeah. Cool. They definitely should. So yes, Piggy and her friends go into this bridal shop. Jill is working there. Everyone's kind of wearing a lot of little polka dots. Just everyone in this sequence is so nicely dressed. I love Kermit and his friends in their little sweaters. I love the.
Yeah, I really like that preppy look that Kermit and Scooter and the gang have.
Yeah, and all the polka dots on Piggy and her friends. Janice is wearing this little blue polka dot dress, which is not the kind of thing we usually see her wear, but it's working for her. Piggy has the line in the song, "Somebody get a sweet negligee," which is about as adult as this, it's the closest we get to acknowledging the intimacy of Kermit and Piggy's wedding night that will
right. Well, I was watching these as I've mentioned on the show often. I was watching this one again with my kids over and over, and Iris asked me what a sweet negligee was, and I was like, "Well, it's a nightgown. It's kind of like an underwear nightgown." Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, okay."
So she didn't ask like, "Oh, why does Piggy want a sweet negligee?"
Yeah, I think Iris loves nightgowns.
Right.
Like she's 6 years old, so she wasn't. Piggy wants a nightgown. Sure, of course she does.
Yeah, who wouldn't want a fancy nightgown?
She wants a sweet one, like cool.
right, exactly.
Hey, dude, sweet negligee.
Right.
And then when they get to that line, somebody getting married today, the dresses in the shop all come to life and sing. So again, these must be. They must have come in and joined the cast along with the tuxedos,
right? And we should mention, we know from a previous episode that our former guest Tim DeHaas was one of those dresses.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did he? I don't remember. Was there any specific anecdote there, or just that he?
Listeners will remember whatever story he told about that on our previous episode.
Or if you don't, go back and listen to that episode again.
I think he just mentioned it as one of the things that he did in the movie.
Yeah. What a fun thing to be able to watch this movie and point to one of the dresses and say, "Hey, that's me."
Right, for sure.
Yeah. There is then the next thing we see, a bakery shop with wedding cakes everywhere. And there's a big sign in the back that says, "Wedding cakes are specialty." So we know that this is a store where they're going to buy wedding cake. The Swedish Chef is working there, which makes me wonder, he joined this production when he showed up with Scooter. So who was going to play this role of the baker before the Swedish Chef came along?
Yeah, good question. Probably Floyd.
Yeah.
Okay. Floyd would be a very hip baker.
Yeah, sure.
But that would be fun to see. Kermit and his bros here come in in the door on stage left, while Piggy and her gal pals enter the other door of the bakery, stage right. Kermit and Piggy are trying to get a look at each other, but of course there's this superstition that the bride and groom should not see each other before the ceremony on the wedding day, so their friends all push them out the door. If it had occurred to me, I would have looked up where the superstition came from, but I did not. Max, you have something?
They're both being pushed out. Who's gonna get the cake?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Good question.
I mean, they're preparing it. Swedish Chef knows what's up. He's got the Kermit and Piggy stands on the little
right
figures for the cake. So the order's been made, but they're both coming there to pick up the cake, and now there's no one to attend for.
Their friends are going to prevent them from. Yeah, that's a great question. They might just not have a cake at their wedding.
Can't trust your friends to let you get cake.
Yeah, they really should have planned all this out better. But the Swedish Chef leads a chorus of cakes on the back wall and singing, "Somebody get this wedding underway." I just specifically remember as a kid being fascinated by all these singing cakes. I guess I had never seen, there's that one Swedish Chef sketch on the Muppet Show where he is like trying to frost a cake that starts yelling at him in Japanese. I don't think I had seen that before. So something about this, like all these cakes just start singing. There was just something very fascinating about that to me as a kid.
Sure.
And then food man.
What's that?
I just said Muppet Food Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Then the chef puts a lovely Kermit and Piggy cake topper on. I'm sure a lot of Muppet fans have had some sort of representations of Kermit and Piggy on their wedding cakes.
Well, that's actually another thing that I was watching this with my 6-year-old daughter, Iris. Like I said, she was like baffled by this.
Oh,
by the idea that I actually got a recording of it. We can insert it into the show.
Okay.
Just talking about how like she is amazed that the Swedish Chef had a cake topper of these two people who aren't even married yet. So what did you want to say about that cake topper?
Where did he get that? He can't just get that at the grocery store.
When you say he, you mean the Swedish Chef?
Yeah.
And why can't he get it at the grocery store?
Because it's a certain one. You can't just buy the certain person. Like they haven't even gotten married. No one even knew that they would get married.
Kermit and Piggy?
Yeah.
So why would there be a cake topper? Because no one knew they were getting married? That's what you mean?
Yeah.
You know what? That's a really good point.
Yeah. That's I guess, either the fantasy world of the Muppets Take Manhattan or the fantasy world of Manhattan Melodies, where, yes, you can just order a cake topper that looks exactly like you. Whereas, is Iris familiar with the concept of cake toppers in general, of these little figures that look like people?
Yes, she is. Well, I know I've mentioned this on the show. Our cake topper was the Palisades Gonzo and Camilla.
Mm.
And so we have still sitting in our windowsill by our kitchen sink a photo of that on top of our cake, just like a little 2x3 photo.
Yeah.
So like
that's good.
As far as like that's like the main cake topper she's ever seen before,
okay.
But that's in real life. That's not like we don't have a cake topper of me and Roz sitting in our kitchen,
I would also like to establish what a lot of people don't know about the Swedish Chef is that his gift is really carpentry. He he tries so hard as a cook, as a chef, hence his name. And he always kind of fumbles the job a little bit. But it's really clear here that he's got a gift with wood, and he just put together these little Kermit and Piggies. And I think, if he maybe kind of stuck to that, I think he might have a lot more success here.
You think he just hand carved these out of wood by himself?
I think this is his complete handiwork. Iris is right. This isn't something you can just get off the street.
No, it's
custom made. And who by? The Swedish Chef. Only person.
Yeah.
Who
sure
has that expertise.
So do you think he painted them himself too and everything?
Absolutely.
Wow,
absolutely. Yeah. He's an artist.
Swedish artist, we call him.
Swedish artist.
Have they ever made commercially available Kermit and Piggy cake toppers?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising. Was there like a super exclusive Palisades Toys cake topper? Boy, I really should have looked this up.
There wasn't
before.
A cake topper, but I'm very sure they had like Kermit Piggy wedding variant.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I even I was Googling because it was so strange that I'm talking about somebody's getting married and then my cousin gets married like this past weekend, and so all sorts of things, like I'm kind of like using pictures of Kermit and Piggy, like I'm searching Muppet wedding and stuff like that, and just like looking up imagery of that to kind of like use in like little posts here and there. And so
sure.
So I'm like 90% sure I've seen that image of like a Kermit Piggy like figurine that looked Palisade accurate. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm seeing in a Google search several things that look like they're just sort of handmade on Etsy, where people have either made them by themselves or they've customized other little Muppet PVC figures and things to make them look like they're wearing a wedding dress and a tuxedo. And then, yes, Wedding of the Century Kermit and Piggy action figure set was made by Palisades Toys. The production of the figures was limited to 300 pieces and given away as party favors at Palisades Toys product director Ken Lilly's wedding.
Whoa!
The Jim Henson Company gave Palisades permission to produce these figures as a wedding gift under the condition that Palisades Toys never make them available for sale at retail.
Wow.
So it would be...
I wonder why not. I feel like they would sell a bunch of those.
They would sell so many. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah.
They're so picky about the Kermit Piggy wedding thing. Maybe there's like an ongoing in-company drama about like the canonness of Kermit and Piggy's wedding.
Oh, that could have something to do with it. Yeah. Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Giving the wrong impression to Muppet fans going to the store and being like, oh, Kermit and Piggy wedding set. They must be an item.
I guess it's official. Yeah.
When this is the Muppet,
right.
When this is the Muppet Kelvin verse, Muppets Take Manhattan, where where they start the review and Swedish Chef is a woodsman, of course.
Right, a woodsman. Yes, Swedish woodsman we call him.
Yeah. Like it caused enough confusion when they announced their breakup before the 2015 series, where people were like, "What? They got divorced?" And I was like, "Well, no, they weren't actually married, or maybe they were, but it doesn't really matter." So
yes, Kermit and Piggy are divorced.
Yes, they went to court and got a divorce.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, it was in all the papers. Then the bakery set disappears to reveal a chapel. And on the stage, there are some street signs that say 45th Street and Broadway. Why 45th? I don't know. That's not where the Biltmore Theater is, where this performance is taking place, because that's on 47th Street. Among the places that are on 45th Street and Broadway currently are the Minskoff Theater, which is where the Lion King Broadway show is running, and also a McDonald's. So I don't know why they chose 45th and Broadway as the signs on stage, but there you have it. Before we move on to the next thing, I have something that I want to talk about, hopefully concisely, involving my own wedding. So my wife, Stacey Rosen, is also a Muppet fan. She's been on this podcast multiple times. She wrote our theme song. When we got married, so once all the guests were seated, we played the recording of somebody's getting married from this movie. So it was kind of a fun thing, like, people reacting to suddenly hearing these Muppet voices saying, somebody's getting married. And then that continued to play as all of our immediate family members came down the aisle for the processional and the maid of honor and the best man. And then when it transitioned into He'll Make Me Happy, it faded into, we faded out the recording, and that's when a live piano player started playing that. So anyway, that was all great, and everyone was very amused to hear Muppet voices. So time goes by after the wedding. Stacey wrote to our videographer to check in on the status of our video, and he gave us an update, and he said something like, okay, but I'm working on something that I'm going to send you first, and I think you're really going to like it. So we were very intrigued. We were like, I wonder what that could be. And then eventually he sends us a link to download a video, and it's the whole processional with somebody's getting married, but for most of it, instead of showing inside the venue with all of our guests and our family and friends going down the aisle, he's actually showing scenes from this clip of the movie. Like he took this sequence from the movie and edited it in to our wedding video. And then every time it shows the venue from the back looking toward the front, he has digitally inserted a screen as if there were a projector and a screen in the room, and our guests were watching the movie on a
But
screen.
that didn't actually happen.
No, there was no visual at all at our wedding.
How strange.
We were just playing the audio. Yeah, and we never asked for any of that, obviously, and he still had not given us the actual like edited version of our wedding at this point. This is all he gave us to start with.
So weird.
And he had prefaced it with this sort of, mysterious like, I think you're going to like what I came up with for you. So, yeah, it was very strange.
That's weird because you could just watch this movie anytime you wanted to.
True, and if we had wanted our guests to be watching the video clip in the room at the time, we would have set up a projector and a screen and had them watching the video clip in the room at the time. But we didn't want that. So then Stacey had to very delicately say, well, this is very creative, but we would like a version that just shows the people in the room who we invited to our wedding because we want to see them because we have already seen this movie before. So I just thought I would share that.
Well,
strange.
that's weird.
Yeah. So back to the actual movie. The chapel appears on stage, and for the first time in a while, we see the audience of Manhattan Melodies.
And they love it. They are going bananas for this chapel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're applauding. We hear the roar of the crowd here. This is another clip which we mentioned many episodes ago that several shots of this movie have been licensed for use. Like this is one of those. If you have the money, you can pay to use this shot of the applauding crowd at Manhattan Melodies in your own movie or TV show.
Really?
So yeah, if I can find that link again, I'll put it in the show notes for this one.
Amazing.
Of course, it looks like it was filmed in 1984 at this point, like the film stock and everything. So, and then, yeah, I think this is the last time that it's acknowledged that there's actually a live audience in the theater watching this on stage, right?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
And things are about to get, like, it's about to become either very weird or very impossible for there to be a live audience watching.
Right. Well, and we also see, you may be just about to say this, but then we see Jenny, Pete, Ronnie Crawford, and Bernard Crawford.
It's true.
Backstage watching. And that's the last time we see any of those guys in this movie also. Like that's.
Oh, yeah.
Because we never see the audience again. We never acknowledge that it's a play again. This is our farewell. And it's fascinating to me that Bernard Crawford is there. That they brought Art Carney in to like pat Lonnie Price on the shoulders and good job, son.
Yeah, exactly. It is nice that Ronnie is validated in that way.
Yeah.
And if this is so from here on out, if this is all kind of more real, so to speak, and kind of like it kind of transforms into a wedding proper and sort of like we're maybe supposed to take this at face value as like a canon wedding within the Muppet Kelvin verse. It's clear no humans were invited to the wedding. Just straight up. Like there no humans.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, when we go into the chapel, it's all Muppets.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of lame that you just made these really good friends and it's like nope.
That's true. Not even Jenny is invited. Yeah. Not even Pete. Yeah. After all those bowls of soup and everything. There's also a split second where I'm pretty sure Ronnie and Jenny sort of like squeeze hands for just a second before it cuts away. So that may be just like one remaining trace of the abandoned sort of subplot of those two being an item.
Yeah.
That's all we need. We don't need any more than that. In the March 7th, 1983 draft of the screenplay, it specifies a few people who would be visible in the audience. In the front row, it says that some of the characters from the college sequence at the beginning would be there. These are characters that we don't actually see in the movie because they got cut. But also Martin Price, who would be handcuffed to a police officer, and Eileen, Piggy's coworker from Macy's, although it's Bergdorf Goodman in this movie. But I would have liked to see that. That would be fun. Also, because it reminds me of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he meets all his friends again at the end of the movie.
Sees all the characters, yeah.
Yeah.
Gives Simone and her French boyfriend French fries. Or whatever.
Right. Just to catch another glimpse of all our pals. And then it also lists other people who are present in the theater. Jerry Nelson, Dave Goles, Richard Hunt, Steve Whitmire, Jim and Jane Henson, Frank and Robin Oz, David Laser, Al Gottesman and Linda. That's Jim Henson's lawyer. Bob and Eve Bromberg. He was the Henson Company CFO. Carolee Wilcox from the Henson Company Workshop. Faz Fazakis, also from the Workshop. The whole damn staff at Henson Associates and the whole movie production team and whomever the hell wants to be there.
Whoa.
Lovely.
So funny that they list all those specific people and then you're just like, yeah, whoever, who cares?
Yeah, and then they didn't even do it.
Then they didn't do it. Yeah, it's just like a generic crowd.
Yeah, I wonder why. It would have been so much fun to see all those, like, especially for us Muppet nerds now watching this, to see all those people, dressed up, sitting in that Broadway theater.
Right. Just be like, did you guys see Callista Hendrickson?
Yeah, exactly.
There she is.
Yeah. But yeah, for whatever reason, they decided not to do it. So let's see, where are we? A family of bears runs up to the chapel. In a wide shot, these bears are performed like costumes, like they're moving their arms and legs, and then it cuts to a close-up where they're performed like hand puppets visible from the waist up, and they can move their mouths, and they sing "Somebody's Getting Married Today" and open the doors to the chapel. One of these is Bobo, right? I forgot to put that in my notes.
Yep. Yeah. We talked about that last week too, though.
Oh, okay. But is it the one in the dress?
Yes.
The one in the dress is Bobo. Yeah.
Okay. So the future Bobo is the bear wearing a dress.
Yep. I think these, I believe, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these same three bears are the bear family in Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree.
Oh, okay.
Where they do the honeypot dance.
Well,
I think that's the same.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because they had to be like full-bodied in that too to do the dance.
Yeah, so they were waiting for their big moment a decade later, doing the honeypot dance.
On the cusp of Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree success, just
right around the corner. They're almost there. They had to pay their dues.
What year is Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree?
1995.
90 what?
95. Yes,
95.
Steve Whitmire plays Kermit in it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they had to wait a whole 11 years to
whole decade
get their next moment in the spotlight.
And they got upstaged by another set of bears because all of the ads in Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree in its initial airing were by Nabisco's Dizzy Grizzlies snack crackers. And when I think of watching that on VHS, I think way more about the Dizzy Grizzlies commercial.
What makes them Dizzy Grizzlies? What exactly is that snack?
They are like they have like something on the front and back, so they're like spinning because they have frosting on the back or not on the front or something. So
is that like a Teddy Grahams spinoff or?
Yeah, it's a Teddy Grahams. It's just like a cool Teddy Grahams. Okay. It's like the hip 90s Teddy Grahams.
As if they weren't hip enough already.
We'll link to the Dizzy Grizzlies commercial in the show notes.
Yeah. Those Teddy Grahams commercials though were so cool, where they were like a rock band, and they were like, "Here's what all the people say: new vanilla is here to stay." Remember that one?
I don't. I remember. Here come those Dizzy Grizzly Bears. I remember that one.
I don't have a horse in this race.
You don't have a favorite Teddy Grahams commercial?
I didn't grow up. When I was growing up, Teddy Grahams wasn't the big, when I'm thinking about crazy trying to be hip advertising from when I was growing up, I automatically think of Apple Jacks and Cookie Crisp because those ones were just too in your face aggressive in terms of we're cool. We are very cool.
Right. Well, because when I was a kid, Cookie Crisp was about a guy getting arrested for eating too much Cookie Crisp.
Is that what he was? Was he stealing it or?
He was stealing Cookie Crisp and he got arrested. Yeah. But then, Max, when you were a kid, it was like a wolf who loves Cookie Crisp or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was a wolf. He was really trying to fiercely compete with
Right. And this is 2008 or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
And just very loud and to the camera aggressive. And then of course the Applejacks are like surfer dudes, like who just like it's kind of like one of them's more cynical and one of them's like a stoner, and so and they're at odds with each other.
That's so funny because when we were a kid, the Applejacks commercials were like, the Applejacks don't taste like apples, and adults don't get it. Kids love Applejacks even though they don't taste like apples.
Yeah, there would always be like a parent who would say, Applejacks don't taste like apples. Why do you like them? And like there would be an awkward silence, and one of the kids would say, we just do. It's like, you told that clueless adult.
They go the full like Tony Hawk Pro Skater route, where it's like one of them has like a thick Jamaican accent, which wouldn't necessarily. But also the thing is, I don't know why I know this. Okay, I'm a little mini tangent here. I don't know why I know this. There's sort of like, because meme culture these days is very much about like capturing sort of like weird moments from our childhood, at least for early 2000s kids. And there was something about there's like a weird subculture thing where they're trying to track down who voiced the cinnamon stick, the surfer cinnamon stick with the Jamaican accent. There is no record of this guy's, like, from what I gather, from what I've heard. There's a name attached. We know the name, but it also sounds like a completely made up name as well. So like it just, this guy doesn't exist. And so in terms of like the internet, some people on the internet are on the search for a non-existent Applejacks cinnamon stick guy that like I don't know. And we know who played the apple. We know who played the apple, but there's zero evidence to suggest like, so like I couldn't say that like, you know, it was insensitive because it was never like a stereotype, but at the same point in time, we have genuinely no clue about any of the behind the scenes of any of that. Like, it's so weird. This gap.
That is wild.
Well, I have not heard of that, but I love internet mysteries like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for enlightening us oldsters.
Yes.
We're so old that we don't understand why 2000s kids care about the cinnamon sticks voice.
I don't know why we care about it. I just know that we do, and that we're on.
We just do.
Yeah, we just do.
Listeners out there, if you can find the Applejacks cinnamon.
Yes, if anyone listening to this podcast has any information about the voice of the Applejacks cinnamon stick, please.
Yes, please let us know.
All of us.
Yes.
All of us.
A mass email.
Well,
please.
I'm glad we went on that little detour because I felt like this episode was just me like describing things. So that was a nice little tangent. But and I was going to say, do we assume that everyone listening to this knows what Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree is?
I don't know. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree is the worst thing the Muppets have ever starred in, maybe. It's real close. It's a Christmas special from 1995. About a man named Mr. Willoughby, played by Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Who is hosting a big Christmas party. And then he gets a Christmas tree that's too tall for the ceremony hall. So he chops off the top and throws it out the window. His butler, played by Leslie Nielsen, and his Swedish maid, played by Stockard Channing, are there also. Meanwhile, this family of bears, pick up the top of the tree, do a honeypot dance, but it's too tall for their cave. So they chop off the top, throw it out the window. An owl picks it up, brings it home, plays a wind chime song, but it's too tall for the tree branch that the owl is on. So he chops off the top, throws it out the window. But guess what? A family of mice have been trying to find the perfect tree for this whole special. So they take the top home and they have a Merry Christmas. It takes 24 minutes for all of this to happen.
Well, that was actually
so boring. It's so boring.
That was a really concise description. And yes, as you say, it does not need to take 24 minutes for all of that to happen. But yes, well done, Anthony. That was very well told. Like, I like the way you didn't introduce the mice into the story until the very end, because that's really all you need.
Because they shouldn't. That's like the biggest padding. is that the mice family are like watching it all, being like, "Wow, the honeypot dance is so Christmassy."
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible. It's so bad.
My thoughts on Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree. I kind of completely agree and completely disagree with everything everyone has to say about Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree. Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree is one of the worst things I've ever seen, and it's also like one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I watch it every year.
I personally I think it's one of my favorite things, that just the fact that it exists. The dialogue of Robert Downey Jr., that just makes zero sense.
Yeah. He's just like, where can my splendiferous arboretum be?
Yes, he speaks in big words that are often made up.
And like, that's just treated as normal. And it's just like, really like, I don't know. And but like, he's giving it he's overacting times 10 in the best way. Like, if this was like a straight Muppet production or something like that, it would fit right in. But just the fact that he's kind of just doing this thing, and there are Muppet things that happen, but it's kind of like everything's sort of weirdly disconnected from each other, just makes it really like absurdly funny that like just Robert Downey Jr. is just being weird.
Right. Well, and we should say, as long as we're talking about it, the script was written by Mitchell Kriegman, the creator of Bear in the Big Blue House.
Yeah,
and it was directed by John Stone.
Yes,
the lead director of Sesame Street.
Yeah, essentially the showrunner of Sesame Street. So that makes it all the more baffling
for decades. Yeah, so like those guys really should know better, and I'm not sure why they didn't. But you're right, Max. No, it is fascinating. Like, it's not. I think everyone should see it every year.
And the fact that Leslie Nielsen does nothing. Like, just
Leslie Nielsen doesn't do anything funny. Yeah,
like just stone cold face, and it's like kind of it's a big letdown. It's a big letdown on that one. A little bit, but yeah, make it a Christmas tradition, but it sucks.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I understand. Right. It's a nice idea to make a special and a Muppet special where the theme is, like everybody has their own holiday traditions, and that's a really nice thing. But yeah, I just wish they had. I wish they had done it better. Wish they had done a better job of it. So,
yes.
Meanwhile, back in the Muppets Take Manhattan, the bears go into the chapel. So now we are on the other side of the doors of this chapel, and we'll see this. It'll become even more obvious in a moment, but now it's impossible for the audience of Manhattan Melodies to see inside this set, if in fact it is actually still a set, because as we will see in a moment, it seems like it's much too big to fit on the stage of the Biltmore Theater.
Seems like they just moved into a real church, and that's where they're doing their
right, exactly. But for now, the camera follows the bears a little bit down the aisle, but then stops because there are at least 3 rows of Sesame Street Muppets. And that's so exciting because in the Muppet movie, we had one Sesame Street cameo, and that was Big Bird. In The Great Muppet Caper, we had one Sesame Street cameo, and that was Oscar the Grouch. But in this shot alone, if we really look, we can see Cookie Monster, the Count, Grover, Harry, Bert, Ernie, Biff, Sully, this monster named Mona, who later also was 3 other different characters named Frida, Juliet, and Ingrid, but at this time she was Mona. I checked on the wiki. We can also see Simon Soundman, a honker, Forgetful Jones, Guy Smiley, and a little bit of Telly. Did I miss anyone in this shot?
You actually did miss Oscar and Grangetta.
Oh, are they visible in this shot?
Yeah. They're just, well, Grangetta isn't very visible, but
Oscar is turned towards Grangetta.
Okay.
And so the back row goes Cookie Monster, Count, Grover, Oscar, and Grangetta turn towards one another, and then Harry.
Okay.
Yeah. So Oscar and Grangetta are talking about how crummy this wedding is or something.
Oh, I'm sure.
We can't hear them, but like they are conversing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
It's a great thing they put him in the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But and this is just a tease of how many Muppets we're about to see, but Ernie. Go ahead.
I really do enjoy. Oh, I just like that it's like here's the groom's side, right? It's all his old friends from Sesame Street.
Yes, yes, exactly.
They don't know. They don't know this Piggy's marrying. They don't care about her. But like, it's Kermit's wedding.
Yeah, they may
It's
have. Some of them met her in passing, maybe. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, Big Bird was on the TV show. Some of these guys were on the Muppet Show. You know.
Yeah, Ernie and Bert made an appearance on
Count,
the Muppet Show.
Count was on there. Marty Feldman episode has a bunch of, you know.
Right, that's
Count,
true. That's true.
And somewhere in Sesame, I forget what sketch. I think it was a Monster Piece Theater. Miss Piggy's picture is in the background, so Miss Piggy is well known in the Sesame verse in a way to warrant a framed photo. I mean,
they've seen her picture on the wall at the very least.
Right. Yeah.
When I was asked to come on this show, I was given a bunch of different options of like different scenes that I might want to talk about, and I immediately jumped at the chance to talk even just a smidge about the Sesame Street Muppets here, because this is perhaps like my favorite part of the movie. I think just because I love the sheer volume of Muppets, but especially because I love this crossover element with the Sesame Street Muppets.
Yeah.
I just think it's super special. Like, it's a special moment.
Oh, yeah.
It's the we talk about how this is like the time where we have the most Sesame Street Muppets in a Muppet movie, you know, but this is also like the last major time we'll see a Sesame Muppet in a Muppet movie, like
in a feature film. Yeah.
And so it's kind of this crazy, you know, and I think about Muppets Take Manhattan in the context of those first three movies, and just seeing all the Muppets together, including Sesame, is kind of just like a big send-off of like, this is the Jim Henson Muppet trilogy. It's like, oh man, everyone's here for this. Everyone's here.
Yeah. I think they must, whether it was completely intentional or not, they must have been aware of that in this sequence, this wedding sequence, that there was at least that it gives that vibe.
Yeah.
So Ernie says, he starts to say, "Are they here yet? Are they here yet? Did I?" And that is where this clip ends. So we'll have to wait until next week to find out what Ernie wants to know whether he did. Are they here yet? Are they here yet? Did I leave the oven on? I don't know.
He did.
I have just one more note, which is from the Marvel Comics adaptation of this movie. As we discussed, I think it was just last week, Statler and Waldorf are briefly visible in the balcony box on stage left when the curtain goes up, but they never speak. But in the comic, there's a joke where Waldorf says, "A weird bunch like that, and they're going to have a huge success." Statler says something about America, doesn't it? Waldorf says, "Yeah, let's move to Sweden."
Huh.
So, not a bad Statler and Waldorf joke.
Yeah, it's fine.
A little bit more esoteric, but I like it.
Yeah. So then, that's the end of this clip. Any final thoughts on this clip in particular, Max? Starting with you.
This is a great clip. Prime Muppet real estate, wall to wall, minute to minute, Muppet goodness.
Yeah, a lot happened.
Songs, fun, gags, and Sesame Street. I think it's the I would say trifecta, but I listed at least 4 things there. So
Right.
it's everything you want in a Muppet finale, and in especially if it's a musical number, and you just have a lot of just good kinetic energy going on. It's exactly kind of, I wish this was more of the movie, that it was more kind of bright and colorful and a little unhinged a little bit. The movie has moments of unhingedness, but this is where it's like they get to be their full Muppet self.
Right.
And I'm not saying like, of course the movie is a good movie for what it is. It's its own thing. But I do genuinely think that this is kind of like, this movie's been kind of like this roller coaster, and now we're kind of like on the descent, like this sort of like rising, and I don't know. Roller coaster is a bad analogy. We're in this like big, awesome, long haul high moment, and I just love it a lot. I love I love all of this. I don't really know what else to say other than this is like my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
And seeing Sesame Street and seeing what is to come for a wedding, a canonical wedding in the Muppet Take Manhattan Kelvinverse. What will happen?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Come back next week to see more of this wedding. Anthony, final thoughts on this clip?
No, nothing else. We talked about all my notes.
Okay. So, Max, we like to ask our guests, do you recall the first time you saw this movie? What is your history with it? Where would you rank it alongside the other Muppet movies, etc.?
Those are very easy but just fun questions. I don't know that I know the exact first time I watched the movie, but growing up, I guess sort of my backstory with Muppets in general was that Muppets were always a part of my life in a sense. I just didn't really acknowledge them. Growing up, I had sort of like a distant aunt who was like my mom's cousin, mom's best friend or whatever, who we used to live near her, and she when I was a baby, bequeathed all her Muppet VHS to me. I had Muppet Movie, Great Muppet Caper, Muppets Take Manhattan, and I think I might have had a DVD or two or something like that. This is early 2000s, and so I probably had those in a VHS rotation growing up. Yeah. But I don't have any retainable memories of Muppets Take Manhattan, except I think I've had the memory of the very final scene where Piggy and Kermit go into the moon and all that.
Sure.
Yeah. That was a weird memory that stuck with me about Muppets growing up. I think that's the only thing I can remember. And then there was this long gap where then I became deathly afraid of Muppets.
Was that right?
Yeah, that's part of the backstory. Then we go to Disney World. My parents forced me kicking and screaming to go watch Muppet Vision. And then I leave Muppet Vision absolutely exultant. And it's something just clicked and it was wait, what? And just
so how old were you when you saw Muppet Vision? Do you remember?
That was 2008. So I would have been 9. I would have been 9.
Okay.
And
so can I tell our listeners the first time that I met you?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I met you 2 years after that. You were 11 and I was 25, and we were at the Dave Goelz screening at the St. Louis Public Library, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we were waiting in line to see Dave Goelz introduce one of these packages of clips, and Dave's telling stories, and Gonzo was there, and Roz and I are in line, and behind us that's right, an 11-year-old kid with an FAO Schwartz Muppet Workshop puppet that he brought with
Muppet Whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was Max. So you were all in. If that was 2 years after you saw.
I literally do not know what happened, but just seeing Muppet Vision just clicked in my head. And when I went home, I just did as much research as I could on Muppets. That's when I discovered Muppet Wiki first. I was just combing through Muppet Wiki.
Boy, you are so lucky to have grown up in the era that Muppet Wiki already existed.
Yeah, right.
And I was watching what I had. I was watching stuff that would come on TV. I was searching through. That was around that time of YouTube when people were getting away with full episodes of the Muppet Show on there. And I would just digest that. That's when I discovered, the Muppet fan sites, Tough Pigs and Muppet Mindset. At the time, I think I was definitely more of the Mindset persuasion, just because I had this weird, and now Tough Pigs is the place to be. I think somewhere around 2015 was then I switched to Tough Pigs.
Sure,
that's controversial to say, but now it's one and the same, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Now we're all a family.
We're all under the same umbrella.
But there was something about, I think when I was younger, I took Tough Pigs as Muppet fans who grew up thing really seriously, and it's
you're I haven't grown up yet.
I shouldn't be reading this. This is too adult for me. Like, legitimately. I took that really serious.
Yeah.
And so, but with Muppets Take Manhattan, I think, I had the VHS, and so then, and I think we got a DVD copy of it, like, through something. That's when I like started collecting, and I got all the DVDs. I got, this was pre-Blu-ray still, and so I watched that. I think I watched that a number of times. I don't think there's any notable memories, but like I just kind of idolized this movie as like one of the movies. Like there was a long period of time also. So weird. I don't think I had seen any post-Jim Muppet movies. I think I was really sticking to specifically Muppet movie and specifically and Manhattan. I can't really recall myself watching Muppet Caper as much as these two. I don't know why, but I just cannot. Even though I had it, and so I really watched this over and over. And I'm trying to think. And so I just worshiped this movie. And then kind of as I grew up, I think there was sort of a thing where then I started watching all the other Muppet movies, watched stuff that was incoming, because then, Muppets 2011 came out, and then there was just more of an influx of stuff to deal with. And then, I got more into movies in general. And so Muppets was still a big part of my life, but slowly but surely kind of took more back burner moments in terms of my pop culture intake. And then I think I watched it in like 2017 or something. It was the first time I had really rewatched it in a long time. And that was the time I watched it where I was like, it's not my favorite anymore. It's not like, because it was never my favorite. Muppet movie was always my favorite. But I was like, this movie is like, doesn't hold up like it does. It's very slow and it's very different. It's just not hitting me the same way it used to. There's still things that worked, but it was kind of the thing where it's like, I still love this. I still have a lot of emotional connection to it, but it's like, And then I rewatched it recently, and I was like, no, this is still very good. It's just not. It's not my Muppet movie. It's not for me like other Muppet movies.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the way I sit with it now. I think as it concerns a ranking system, I would say Manhattan is kind of probably like, I'm trying to think, probably like number 4 in my Muppet movie tier list. I put Muppet movie first, and then I'm one of those freaks who puts Most Wanted too.
No, that rules.
Nice.
I think that's great. I admire cool. that.
Then Caper, and then I would say Manhattan.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe even 5, because sometimes I waver and put like Carol in there as 4. Sure, I think it just ebbs and flows. But,
it might. Yeah, and it might change again the next time you watch any one of these movies. So that's what it's like to be a fan. Very good. So then with that, we will wrap things up for this week. Listeners, please make sure you check out Tough Pigs on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, all of those places. Our logo is by Morgan Davy. Our theme music is by Stacy Rosen. Hey, we also have a Patreon, which I am remembering to mention this time. That is at patreon.com/toughpigs. We would very much appreciate your support. We have 3 different tiers there where you can pledge your support to Tough Pigs. You can email us at movingrightalong@toughpigs.com and let us know what's on your mind. We're just almost wrapping up this movie, but maybe you have something you want to say about Muppet Christmas Carol, which will be the next movie that we'll cover before too long. So you can email us at that address. You can find me on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe. You can see things that I'm saying about other movies on Letterboxd at Movies Are Neat. Anthony is on Letterboxd at Zeppo Marxist. And Max, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram as @BeakerBoy12. And you can also tune into my podcast, the Exhibition Podcast. I co-host it with my good friend Larissa Beatty, and we talk to people about, creative people who do like art and music and film stuff. We talk to them about where their creative inspiration comes from and their pop culture interests. And you can find that on SoundCloud and Spotify. And it's got my quirky little face on it. And so, and on Twitter, I just talk about movies. So check me out. I'm a fun guy.
And you got that good Letterboxd too, man. You should plug that Letterboxd profile.
I'm on Letterboxd as the Muppet Kid, and I just talk about movies. And I write more essay format, sort of, but it's like very stream of consciousness. So it's like
it is.
Man, this sucks, but also I really enjoyed the subtle subtext of, and so that's you can find my opinions there.
The day that we're recording this, you posted a review on Letterboxd of Big Hero 6 that I found it delightful. I'll say that.
Please go search that Big Hero 6 review and like it. It's a fun one.
Yeah. Well, I have not seen Big Hero 6 personally, so now I got to watch the movie so that I can read your review of it. So
you really don't need to watch the movie to read my review.
Everyone else should definitely seek that out. And if you don't mind, please give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts. And please tell all your friends about the show and join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Woo! Dig we must.
Pig and Froggy wedding.
Bill has ears.
There it is.